Turn 4, and some drivers managed to get through, and some drivers unfortunately ended up compromised. But that is part of racing. So they come through the turn 9-10 chicane as we wait for Christos Malakos and Leopold Jour to join the back part of the order as they now get themselves steeled and ready for their first of 2 races. A total of around 20 minutes of competition for these young drivers, the youngest out of the road tax racing classes. So the drivers now keeping us waiting as the anticipation builds. The tension is pretty high as after this weekend we will head to Wickenborn, to the Vogelsberg, in just a few weeks' time, towards the tail end of October, between the 19th and 20th. So now they come over the bump through into turns 13 and 14. The drivers now come out of the final corner. Splits, go into the tram lines, revs rise. Lights go out, it's a clean start and off and away as what a start from Oleg Glan, trying to go up into nearly the lead as it's nearly 4 abreast, trying to go into turn 3. It's 3 wide coming through the corner as they all make their way through turn 4. It's just about keeping it clean through on the first lap, as some drivers managing to use the outside of the exit of turn 4 to actually slingshot their way past us up the inside. Gabriel Hoffmann trying to make his way through up into 4th place, manages to get behind Oleg Glan as it's nearly 2 abreast going through turn 7. As it's side by side for what is effectively 5th position, but coming out on top of that one is Maximilian Pilic, who has the number 14 of Kenyon Washington just behind. So now there could be a change for the lead. Very, very close there indeed between Alexander Klugel and the number 23, Marlon Di Salvo, who started from pole position. Then it's Oleg Glan. Looks like Niklas Casarino, I believe, is up into 4th place. Pilic is now in 5th. Nearly side by side between 2 Nice racing drivers. So it's actually Gabriel Hoffmann that is now up into 4th place, and that could very much be 3rd. And he manages to go around the outside of Oleg Glan. The pair nearly touch going through turn 4. But Hoffmann, I think, has managed to keep the place for the moment. No, it isn't. It's Oleg Glan. But now Hoffmann up the inside of the number 18 through turn 6. Makes it through. This now allows Maximilian Pilic to join the party as Oleg Glan goes bumping into the curbs on turn 7. And that pushes Hoffmann wide. Allows Pilic to get through. So the drivers now make their way through into turn number 11 as it's getting very, very close indeed. Tom Hedger, I believe, in the 88 has just got past one of the Nice racing drivers as it's 2 abreast coming out of turn 12. The 2 leaders now getting a breakaway. So a 3-second penalty has been given to Maxime Becker. I think that's for 2 wheels out of the tram lines. As the 2 leaders, that's Klugel versus Di Salvo, going up into turn 4. As Maximilian Pilic looks to have overtaken Oleg Glan going through turn 3. As there is an absolute squabble of Micromax drivers trying to contest for positions. Looks like Kenyon Washington and Gabriel Hoffmann were just briefly battling over 5th position, but it looks like Hoffmann's got past Washington for the place, and Niklas Casarino is just a little bit behind, is he? Yes, he is at this particular moment in time as Oleg Glan looks towards the inside of number 11 of Maximilian Pilic. 6 minutes and 14 seconds still to go, plus an additional lap. So the gap between Marlon Di Salvo and Oleg Glan last time around was about 1.1 seconds. Leaders come across the line to complete lap number 3. So Pilic is up into 3rd and he's closed the gap. He's put in the fastest lap of the race so far, as up the inside for the lead goes Alexander Klugel. I believe he's now retaken the lead from Marlon Di Salvo. The pair were just under 0.2 of a second apart as they cross the line to complete lap number 3. Back at the rear of the order, Leopold Jour is trying to get on level terms with Christos Malakos, so they're battling away over 12th place, but it is quickly heating up at the front of the field. 5.5 minutes to go. We're trying to pull away from Marlon Di Salvo, and that is not quite happening at the moment as Di Salvo gets a good run going through turn 11. Now into turn 12. and on the defensive on the I think that was the 55 of Maxim Becker went Noah Janssen, but then Becker tries to go up the inside of the 31 through turn 13 and makes it through, but then runs really, really wide. And that allows Noah Janssen and Tom Hedger to get through, as it is now a 5-way scrap for the lead. And the drivers rounded out by Gabriel Hoffmann. There's Ollie Glan. Oh, Ollie Glan has a bit of a moment there, and that allows Hoffmann to go towards the outside through turn 5. Glan keeps the inside line. Casarino trying to go up the inside and looks to have made the position, or was that Kenyon Washington? As it's nearly 3 wide between the knees racing drivers through turn 7. That could have gotten very nasty very, very quickly indeed. One of the biggest rules in racing is you don't take out your teammate, whatever you do. You can race hard, you can race fair. Back end of that trio. The top 4 still trying to fight between each other at the moment. As Alexander Kugel gets past this time, and I think that's Maximilian Pilch in the lead. Nearly 3 abreast coming out of turn 12 as the 23 of Marlon Di Salvo just trying to jump up and down in the seats as he's getting passed around the outside by Ollie Glan this time, who does not run wide on this particular occasion. So top 4 covered by just over 6/10, but now it's a real 3-way scrap at the front of the field as Ollie Glan looking to go at the inside for second position. Looks to have made the change there. Sapilj leads. Ollie Glan and Alexander Klugel are trying to go side by side through turn 5. I never thought I'd see that happen again. But it's now, because they're battling, this is allowing everyone behind who is scrapping over the relevant respective positions just behind, as it's nearly side by side through turn 8. And that was, I think it was Tom Hedger versus Noah Janssen in the 31, trying to go side by side nearly through turn 7, as it's really getting close between the knees racing teammates of Gabriel Hoffmann and Niklas Casarino, which means that Kenyon Washington looks to have moved up a little bit further towards the top 4 positions, as now it's side by side once again, and there's an overtake. I think that was Casarino as they come across the line. So Hoffmann actually got past Casarino for position. It's getting very, very dicey. Ollie Glan now goes for the lead up the inside of Maximilian Pilch. The 18 runs wide. The number 11 nearly goes side by side on the approach into turn 5. Marlon Di Salvo and Alexander Klugel now embroiled in this 4-way scrap for the victory. 2 minutes and 41 seconds, plus an additional lap still to go. Ollie Glan now leads. Maximilian Pilch in second place. Follow that up with Marlon Di Salvo and Alexander Klugel, Kenyon Washington, Gabriel Hoffmann, Niklas Casarino, who ran out the top 7 positions, as it's getting really, really close here. Marlon Di Salvo trying everything in his power to try and get past Ollie Glan, but it's not working so far. As Tom Hedger looking to keep battling away with Noah Janssen. That's for 8th place on the road as the leaders now come through. And it's effectively what it's going to be most of the field that has just gone through. With Matthias Schulte, that is all the way down to 11th position. And the top 10 covered by just under 2.4 seconds. Getting incredibly, incredibly close. And who's going to win the battle on this one? It's anyone's guess. As up the inside of Washington goes Gabriel Hoffmann, who then Washington goes back up the inside on the very next corner. How did he time that one? That was brilliantly done there by the number 14 as they come through the turn 9-10 chicane. As Casarino trying to get in the slipstream of Hoffmann, who in turn is trying to go up the inside of Washington and tries to go through on turn 11. But it's 3 abreast nearly between the 3 knees racing drivers, and that is allowing Tom Hedger to get through, and he gets through up the inside of Niklas Casarino, as does Noah Janssen for the briefest of instants as they go over the crest. Now Washington and Hoffmann battling away. The top 3 were covered by just over 0.2 of a second as they head into turn 3 at the right-hand sweeper. Now there's a possible change for the lead. Maximilian Pilch goes for the lead up the inside of Ollie Glan. Glan runs a little bit wide. Marlon Di Salvo nearly had an opportunity to get through, but could not get past. Alexander Klugel has got the ringside seat and is waiting for that opportunity to strike as we go into the last 45 seconds. After this, there will be one additional lap, and the way that these drivers are hurtling around the circuit is incredible pace. As there's a quick look over the left shoulder from Maximilian Pilch, who continues to lead. Ollie Glan in second. Then it's the 23 of Marlon Di Salvo. Alexander Klugel from Kachmi.de rounds out the top 4. Then look behind that, and it looks like that Gabriel Hoffmann is now up into 5th position. Tom Heger looks to have gone past Kenyon Washington, I believe it's Nicolas Casarino now factoring into that battle, and you've got the 55 of Maxime Becker just behind. So Hansen now drops down into the final position on the top 10, as it's all guns blazing at the front of the field. Ole Glan looks to have kept it on the inside through into turn 5. Now retakes the lead. Klugel up the inside of Di Salvo, as Kenyon Washington now retakes 5th position from Tom Heger in the 88. Gabriel Hoffmann and Nicolas Casarino in close proximity just behind. 0 on the clock. Next time around it will be the final lap of this what's been an enthralling and captivating race so far. Up the inside, trying to go through turn number 11 is the number 23 of Marlon Di Salvo, trying to get past Alexander Klugel, who gets ahead for turn 12, but then Di Salvo counter-attacks and manages to get past the number 80 back into 3rd position, as Maximilian Pilch will get the last lap board first, just ahead of Ole Glan, who's been absolutely flying, as of the rest of the field all the way through this race, as Tom Heger goes towards the outside of Kenyon Washington to get the cut back through towards turn 4 and makes the move up into 4th place. Washington runs wide. Hoffmann now comes into the fray. Nearly 3 abreast as Washington again uses that outside edge of turn 4 to get through. As now Matthias Schulte nearly... I'm just keeping my eyes on what's going on behind. This is absolutely captivating. There are so many positional changes. It can be difficult to keep up, as Maximilian Pilch now has the lead back from Ole Glan. We go into the last 4 corners of the race. Kenyon Washington is still ahead of Tom Heger with Nicolas Casarino, and it looks like Gabriel Hoffmann just behind. This could be an absolutely blistering drag race in the finish between the top 4, and then you look at the 7 carts behind. Leaders come around the final corner. Checkered flag waves. This time it is going to be for Maximilian Pilch, who takes the win from Ole Glan. 3rd is Marlon Di Salvo. Alexander Klugel takes 4th place ahead of Kenyon Washington. Tom Heger rounds out the top 6 positions ahead of Nicolas Casarino. Gabriel Hoffmann, who was up at the sharp end of the grid, finishes in 8th place ahead of Maxime Becker. Noah Janssen rounds out the top 10 ahead of Matthias Schulte in the number 50. As we hear the 2 engines of Leopold Joux and Christos Malakos come across the start-finish line to finish in 12th and 13th respectively. But Maximilian Pilch starts Sunday off in the perfect way possible.